Whoa, 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 whoa! It's a video about incoming patch in Albion Online very soon. Today we're gonna talk about new weapons, new potions. So let's start it. But first of all, I wanna show you how this stuff really looks like. Because my first opinion about it was really great. I didn't expect that these stuffs will be so beautiful. Just look at that, how it looks like. I really like this, you know. So I see that developers, team of designers really work well on that. So I like it. So when we know how it looks, staffs, we can talk about Q, W, E, and passives on this stuff. So let's start with the unstable projectile. Shoot a projectile of unstoppable energy at target enemy, dealing 500 in magical damage to the target and shattering in a cone behind them. Deals 300 magical damage to all enemies hit by the cone. That's how it looks like. Let's see. So as you can see, we don't have any cooldowns times, and when we're using Q, we're getting shift charge. So kinda impressive, right? So what about second skill? Reality Crack. Combine up two abilities. The combo resets after 5 seconds. First, Reality Crack. Cause a brief crack in reality into the targeted direction, dealing 600 magical damage to all enemies hit. Of course, I'm talking about these numbers, but it's 8.4 with like masterpiece quality and 120 specs. Don't be surprised that numbers are so high, okay? So hitting at least one enemy will apply one shift charge on you and continue the combo. Second, Reality Fissure. Creature a fissure in reality into the targeted direction, dealing 1000 magical damage to all enemies hit. Hitting at least one enemy will apply 2 shift charge on you and continue the combo. So now let's see how it looks like. First of all, this one, look at the range. And second one. Okay, so look at the range, like wow. Okay, so now let's talk about adapting method. Unleash unstoppable energy at the targeted position, dealing 500 magical damage to enemies. Applies the shield to yourself and up to 3 allies that absorbs 1700 damage for 1.5 seconds. While I think it's really nice for some small scale fights, you know, who playing support, at the same time you can make damage, right? And also you're getting shift charges for your E skill. But also you can make a shield for your allies and for yourself. So, and what about last Q? Pulse Shock. Cast a shockwave in the front of you, dealing 1000 magical damage, decrease damage resistance by 7 for 6 seconds. Stack up to 3 times. Each enemy hit applies 1 shift charge as always. So now let's see how it looks like. Sorry for the cooldown. Okay, so it's like work that you can use on 3 enemies at the same time and it will damage. So look at this. When I first time see them as a skill, I was surprised because I think it will be playable almost in every type of content, because just look at that. Using Q with the 1000 magical damage with a cooldown 4 seconds, and at the same time you can get shift charge, do million damage. Wow. Wow. Okay, now let's talk about W skills. Distortion. Conjure a cloud of distorted reality with a 4-meter radius at the target location lasting 3 seconds. Deals 600 magical damage every 0.5 seconds. Slows all enemies within it by 20%. Okay, let's see how it looks like. So every time when we're using it, we're dealing magical damage every 0.5 seconds in this area, right? And also we're slowing all enemies within it by 20%. I don't know when it will be playable, but with a kinda low cooldown like 6 seconds, guys, I'm telling you, it will be playable. It will be playable. So now let's talk about positional drift. Shoot out tendrils in the targeted direction, pulling up 5 enemies towards you, rooting them for 3.5 seconds. Deal 600 magical damage to all enemies hit. Okay, so, well, and they got root for 3.5 seconds. What about cooldown time? It's 15 seconds. Yeah, it's kinda high, but at the same time, Later I will show you how you can combo this skill with your ultimate on your staff, because I think this skill will be nerfed very soon. I think it's kinda OP, to be honest. But, okay. So now let's talk about teaser shift. Attach a teaser to group a member or enemy, lasting 7 seconds. So it works like Wisp in Dota 2, if you played. Group of members have their damage resistance increased by 78 as long as they are connected. So you connected to the... Okay, wait. Okay. So I talked about enemy. Recast the ability to activate the teaser. If it is attached to enemy, you will dash towards them. As you can see, so we use dash behind the enemy. If it is attached group member, you will pull them towards you, apply shield on the pulled group member that absorbs 1200, so it works like Guardian Helmet, right? So, look. They're getting damage resistance increased by 78. I don't know what to say. So what about Polymorph? Shoot an energy orb in the targeted direction, transforming the first unmount. Not transformed player hit into a helpless animal for 5 seconds. So it like works with a Scythe in Dota 2. Also, if you played, you know what does it mean, a helpless animal for 5 seconds. It's kinda strong and I don't know, it's new mechanic, right? The affected player cannot be transformed again for 5 seconds. Hitting a mob will decrease their max and current health by 15%. The orb explodes on impact, dealing 800 magical damage in 4 meter radius. So we're using W, right? And so it works like stun, but at the same time this helpless animal can move. So I still don't understand a bit how does it work. So we will see it in an incoming patch. Okay, now you know everything about Q, about W skills. Now let's talk about passives, because passives on everything the same. So every single stuff, the same passive, the same Q skills, the same W, as you can see. So first passive, when transforming means that when you're using E skill. When transforming, you increase your max and current health by 2% for 5 seconds for each shift charge. What does it mean, shift charge? So this is one blue point, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And depends on the amount, you're getting max and current health by 2%. So if you have 5 stacks, you will increase amount of health on 10. So now let's talk about second passive, Intimidating Presence. Anytime one of your Q abilities hits an enemy, decrease their damage by 3% for 7 seconds. It stacks up to 3 times. Well, I still don't know will it be playable or not, but when you're gonna use, for example, Q 3 times on your enemy, you will decrease his damage by 9% for 7 seconds. It sounds a really strong passive, but now let's talk about that. Innate Power. After dealing damage, apply 1 shift charge on you every 5 seconds for 30 seconds. Wow. If it's gonna be a long fight, when you're gonna always transform into the werewolf, you know, or some other imp, for example, or golem, this passive kinda useful, because in the long fights sometimes you cannot use Q or W enough to recover your shift energy, right? So this is passive maybe will be useful for exactly long fights, but it still need to see how it really works in the real fights, you know, how it gonna be really in the real matchups, in the real fights. So now let's talk about last passive, Rule Bender. After casting a double ability, so our double abilities, increase your auto attack speed and cast speed by 30% for 5 seconds. Wow. This is passive will be 100% playable, 100%, okay? And I will explain why when we're gonna talk about transformations. Okay, I changed my place, and let's talk about staffs and what they do. So I'm gonna start with my signature Bloodmoon Staff. Guys, I really love this staff. So let's see how does it work and why I said that last ability, Rule Bender, are really strong. So first of all, let's read what are the werewolf transformation do. Transform into werewolf for up to 20 seconds. This changes your abilities and stats. Offensive medium, defensive medium, energy regeneration very high. Bloody Roar. Wherever you deal damage, steal 10% of the health the enemy has lost. So it means that for the next 20 seconds, when you're gonna use werewolf transformation, you getting steal of the health 10%. So it's like mechanic with a Pyramid Snapper if you played before. So you should know how does it work. Okay. First of all, when we're using werewolf, we don't have any shift charges. So we have to increase them. How? By using Q stuff, by using Q skills. Using Q, you're getting shift charges. Now you can use W. You can use Q skill. What about skills on this stuff? So, tear apart everything in a corner in front of you, dealing 900 physical damage to all enemies here. 900 physical damage. If at least one shift charge is active on you, I remind you that shift charge is this is blue point. You activate ability will consume the creating a blood pool behind the first enemy. Entering the blood pool will consume it, healing you for 114 health and increase your move speed by 50% for 3 seconds. And please spend your time. Look at the cooldown time, 2 seconds. Look at the damage, 900 physical damage. Cooldown, 2 seconds. What else? You also healing you for 114 health and also increase your move speed by 50% for 3 seconds. You exciting? How does it work? Okay, I will show you. Just look. Blood pool. And we increased our move speed by 50% and also we got 114 health. So again. Okay, well. I think you understand how really OP this stuff actually. So now let's talk about W. Dash through targeted enemy, landing 3 meters behind them. Deals 1200 physical damage to any enemy you pass through. Increase your attack damage by 60% for 4 seconds. And now look at the cooldown time, 5 seconds. It means that you're gonna be always with the... Okay, almost always. With attack damage by 60%. And with insane damage, like 1200 physical damage. How does it work? Again, we're using Q, right? We have 2 shifts. We can wait also 4 seconds and Q use again. Okay, we have 4. It's fine. So now, just look at that. I'm not using Q, I'm not using W. So just look at the damage. I'm without food, I'm without everything. Yeah, 8.4 masterpiece, of course, but... Did you see the damage? Okay, now let's make a full combo. And I'm gonna show you actually how it will be playable. So, first of all, we're creating a blood pool, W. Another one blood pool. But okay, enemies are here. Blood pool. W. So, how it works, right? But it's only transformation. But now let's see how you can combine with the other skills, because remember that you're gonna transform back to the reality with your current skills. So, you can use, for example, Robe of Purity, right? You can use Force Field on your enemies. Now use Transformation, Q, W, Q again, back to Reality, Cowl of Purity, back again, Q, W, and make a maximum damage. So what I'm trying to say? I'm trying to say that while Transformation, you can back to the reality and Also, you have energetic sprint, you have your skill on the cowl or hood, you know, and also you have your chest skill. How you gonna combine it? It's up to you. You can use Stalker Jacket, you know, activate Stalker Jacket before transformation and make maximum damage. You can use, I don't know, Spectre Jacket, so why not? It's up to you. But at this moment, Bloodmoon is my favorite staff because it's really strong and I like it. Now let's talk about next one. This is my second favorite staff, Hellspawn Staff. Well, I'm so excited actually to show you. So we have 5 shifts, right? First of all, let's read what this imp do. Transform into a Hellfire imp for up to 30 seconds. Do you remember that Wolf only 20 seconds, right? So there is a 10 seconds difference, remember. This changes your abilities and stats. Offensive, very high. Defensive, very low. Energy regeneration, very high. Return from Hell. When your health would drop to 0, you prevent dying and heal yourself over 3.5 seconds, based on the amount of shift charges on you. While healing, you are immune to damage and stun. So, did you play Dota? Do you know about Wraith King? Well, it's ultimate of Wraith King. For the next 3.5 seconds, you are immune to damage and stun, and also you're healing yourself. I don't know how to explain it. But, okay, so now let's talk about skills. Fire Flash Orb. Shoot a Hellfire Orb in a targeted direction, burning through all enemies. Deals 1000 magical damage all in a hit. If at least one shift charge are active on you, recast the ability to consume them and detonate the orb. Deals 1500 magical damage to all enemies for mirror radius. Teleports you to the explosion, increase the cooldown to 6 seconds. So, why I'm always talking about Dota? Because it's so many mechanics like with the same with the Dota 2. And now I'm talking about PATCH. Do you know PATCH? So, just look at that. Using Q, first of all, you're making damage, right? So, when it's passing through enemies, you're dealing damage. Look at that again. But, while this Q is active, you can teleport and do maximum damage. What I'm talking about? I'm talking about 2.5 thousand magical damage with a 9 seconds cooldown time. And that's kinda high, to be honest. So first of all, you can make some different rotates. Oh, actually, sorry, not 9, 6 seconds. You can make so much damage. But while its Q is active, so active, burning, you can back to the humanity, use Robe of Purity, for example, Cowl of Purity, I don't know, Energy Robe, back again, Q. Wow! Do you know, like, wow, I like this stuff, because that's kinda OP. But second skill, W, okay. Hellfire Barrage. So what do you think? What does this mean? It's bowcasters. Release a Hellfire Barrage at the targeted enemy, slowing yourself by 30%. Okay. While channeling for up to 3 seconds. So first of all, it can be interrupted, you can get silenced, you can be stunned, right? But deals 224 magical damage every 0.2 seconds with a cooldown 12 seconds, but charge costs 3. Well, let's charge. We have 3. We have last, okay. So, you can use Q, exploding it, and now W. Look at the damage. Remind you that I'm without food, I'm without everything. Did you see the damage? Again. And cooldown time on that skill 12 seconds, but in fact it's like 9 seconds, because we can channeling up for 3 seconds, so 12 minus 3 is 9. Do you think it's all? No, it's not all. When we're using 3 auto attacks, we're making Demon Cape. Like, so we activate Demon Cape. 1, 2, 3. Demon Cape. Okay, now let's talk about regular stuff what I actually don't like. Earthrune Staff. So, transform into Runestone Golem for up to 20 seconds. This is change your abilities and stats. Offensive low, defensive high, energy regeneration very high. Giant Consumption. Grants immunity to all forced movement effects. It's like Force Field, Robe of Purity. Increase your max and current health and damage based on the amount of shift charges. Remind you that shift charges is like QW. Health increase 10, 15, 20, 25, 30%. Consume 1 shift charge every 3.5 seconds. So now let's talk about skills. Throw a boulder at a targeted position dealing 900 physical damage in a 3.5 meter radius, stuns for 3 seconds. Cooldown 4 seconds. I love this. So now positional drift. Shoot out tendrils in the targeted direction, pulling up to 5 enemies towards you, rooting them for 3.5 seconds. Deal 600 magical damage to all enemies hit. Each enemy hit applies 1 shift charge on you, up to 2 times. So now, let's see how it works. We're using Q, so first of all, we are kinda slow, to be honest. We're kinda slow, and you can throw the boulder at the enemy, 1000 physical damage, and stun for 3 seconds. Will be playable in the small scale fights? Yes. ZVZ, I don't know. But that's kinda really strong weapon for small scale if you wanna support to your enemy to your allies, you know, and stun enemies. That's kinda really strong. I love this. And what about W? You're making wall, and now decrease enemies' health on 15%. So it's like supporter. That's why I don't like, because you know I'm a PvP player, you know, I don't like small scale because I'm a solo player. But this is Earthrune Staff, can be really useful for some small scale fights, for some maybe middle scale fights. So spend your attention on this stuff if you're a supporter, because it's not bad. It's not bad. And of course, like, you have Battle of Fury. Okay. Yes. Now, what about Lightcaller? Transform into Downpurge for up to 20 seconds. This changes your abilities and stats, okay, of course. Offensive high, defensive low, energy regeneration very high. Airborne. Grants immunity to root and slow effects. Transforming while having 5 shift charges active will increase your move speed by 60% for 3 seconds. So what does it mean? When you have 5 shift charges, you can increase your move speed by 60%. That's how it looks like. But you will increase your move speed only for 3 seconds. Cooldown 50 seconds for up to 20 seconds. Now let's talk about skills. Shoot a beam in the targeted direction, dealing 1000 magical damage to all enemies hit. Enemies marked by Eagle Mark cause an explosion in a 5 meter radius that deals additional 700 magical damage. If at least 1 shift charge is active on you, the beam will consume it, reducing its cooldown by 60%. What does it mean? It means when you're gonna use Q and you have shift charge, your cooldown will be like 2 seconds. That's strong. That's strong enough. That's strong. What about W? What about W? Launch a beam of immense energy at the targeted enemy, dealing 3000 magical damage in a 7 meter radius. 7 meters. Well, Q and W, it's not like their master of the power. No! Look at the range of attack and 159, but look at the range. Can you see that? It's like Whispering Bow. you can just use transform and hit some enemies just by your regular attacks and use Q, you know, attack. Okay, go next. What about Prowling Staff? So first of all, of course, read what it's doing. Transform into a Shadow Panther for up to 12 seconds. Do you remember what about other stuffs? Like 20, 30, 25, but this is only 12 seconds. Offensive high, defensive low, energy regeneration very high. On the prowl, if no enemies are within a 9-meter radius around you for 1 second, you will turn invisible to players, but reduce your move speed by 30%. While invisible, enemies within a 25-meter radius will be alert. So when you don't have enemies, you're gonna be invisible, but slowed by 30%. That's huge. That's huge. What about Q? Combine up to 2 abilities. The combo resets after 3 seconds. First and second swipe. Charge through the targeted enemy, dealing 673 magical damage, physical damage, sorry. Consuming 2 shift charges lets you continue the combo. So you have to get 2 shift charges before using Q. Sinister Swipe. Charge through your targeted enemy, dealing magical damage. Additionally, deal 25% of the target's missing health as a true damage. True damage in this game kinda broken, to be honest. So, but if you know what does mean the Wildfire Staff with a 12% true damage, so there is a 25 of the missing health, 40% against mobs, and sets your cooldown of your transformation to 15 seconds. And actually, let's see what it is. So first of all, look at the attack speed and look at the passive. Healing received decreased by 4%, deals 40 physical damage every 1 second, so you can stack up to 5 times. It means that healing received on your enemy will be decreased by 20%, and it's gonna bleed like 200 physical damage every second. That's kinda strong. That's kinda strong. So now let's charge. Okay, let's see. Damage huge. Damage really huge. So, I will try to explain. If enemy trying to run away from you, he just cannot. Because you're gonna use Q, Q, Q again. And you always will be closest to your enemy. Using run, but you just don't care about it, because you have Q. Right, so Q, he running away, using Q, he running away, he using Q. That's kinda strong if you're trying to catch your enemy and make a maximum damage. So what about W? Leap towards targeted position, dealing 600 physical damage versus players, 900 versus mobs, in a 4-meter radius upon impact. Hitting an enemy player will reduce the cooldown of this ability by 50%, and it's only charge cost 1, so kinda nice. So that's how skill works, using dash and making damage. And if you hit at least 1 enemy, cooldown will be reduced in 50%. Well, what about Panther? I would say that it's for players who trying PvP. I would say it's for solo PvP, but it's not only. It also can be useful in some small scale fights when you're trying to catch someone. So let's say you're playing with a thin cowl, it's a cowl with a push, and your enemy trying to run away from you. You're using Q, push, Q, stack up your shift charges, Q, Q, dash. I don't know. So there is so many different variations how you can use abilities, but it's also one of the strongest stuffs. So on the first place, I would say Bloodmoon Staff, second place Hellspawn, and third place Prowling Staff. So spend your attention on this stuff if you are planning to do PvP. Of course, like, I'm not talking about some small scale CVZ. I'm not playing it. It's so hard to say, it's so hard to explain what's better. But what about PvP? These 3 stuffs gonna be really huge. What about Lightcaller? I don't like it. I don't like it. So maybe it will be playable and maybe it will be one of the best stuffs, but no, I don't like it. Okay, let's talk about the next one. Primal Staff. Transform into Spirit Bearer for up to 30 seconds. Offensive low, defensive high, energy regeneration very high. While your health is below 50%, your damage and duration of your crow control effects will increase by 20% and your cast speed will increase by 40%. Why? But it works with your Q and W skills. So let's talk about Q. Smash the ground dealing 1000 physical damage, increase your threat towards all mobs hit by 200. So it's like when you gonna farm some different mobs or enemies, for example, or in open world, so mobs gonna attack you. If at least one shift charge is active on you, the smash will consume it and stunning all enemies hits for 2 seconds. How does it work? So we're using a transformation. Bam. Damage plus stun. What about W? Combine up to 2 abilities, the combo resets after 8 seconds. First, Wild Onslaught. Dash in the targeted direction, knocking back all enemies if you pass through by 5 meters. So it works like a new mechanic on the boots, with the knocking back, but also you decrease damage resistance enemies by 70 for 5 seconds. That's kinda huge, so it works like a carving sword. At the same time with the force field, so... Second roar. Unleash a mighty roar dealing 1000 physical damage, in a corner in front of you, enemy's hit will flee from you for 1.2 seconds. Makes you the highest priority target for all mobs hit. How it works? Let's see. Using W, using roar, Q, or you also can use, for example, with the 5 shift charges. So let's collect them. Okay. So what you can do, for example, W, Q, you're gonna stun them, and W. Also, what I said earlier, there is so many different variations how you can play with it, but I don't like it. Because this is, I think, for some small scale fights, middle scale fights, to support for your team. Yes. Let's talk about next one. And the last one. Rootbound Staff. So this is stuff, it's like Druid and main support. So first of all, E. 20 seconds, medium, very high, increases the max and current health of up to 20 allies in 11 meter radius around you by 10. Wow. So it looks like that. And you increasing of the health of your allies for 10%. Combine up to 2 abilities. The combo resets after 5 seconds. Reality crack. Cause a brief crack in the reality in the targeted direction, dealing 500 magical damage to all enemies. Hitting at least one enemy will apply 1 shift charge on you and continue the combat. If at least 1 shift charge is active on you, the refuge will consume it and growing up to 6 meter radius over 2 seconds. Allies within the improved refuge heal 49 health every 1 second. Increase the healing received by 3 meters. So we're throwing a Q for our enemies. At the same time we're dealing damage, right? But also, if there is some different allies, they getting a health. And kinda really not bad health, like 49 health every 1 second. Not bad. What about W? Gather the energy of nature, becoming immune to damage while channeling up for 3 seconds. Can be interrupted, can be used while stunned or silenced. So it's mechanic like a clerical. Or, for example, cleans. Slows by 35% all enemies within an 11 meter radius, deals 300 magical damage every 0.7 seconds, roots every 2 seconds for 5 seconds. While Dota again, Nyx Assassin with a shard. If you play it, you know how it works, okay? At the start of the channel, cleans all control effects and debuffs except damage over time effects of up to 20 allies within radius, while the radius allies gain a shield that absorbs up to 1400 magical damage, breaks with the next force movement effects. Grants immunity to force movement effects. What does it mean force movement effects? Force field strobe of purity, no, that's what we talked about earlier. Let's get our shift charges and let's use W. It looks like that. When you're gonna use it, it's up to you. I don't like this stuff, but maybe it will be useful in some different areas, in some different fights, so with the Q, with the W, I don't know. So really hard to say. In my opinion, there is so many better stuffs, so many better weapons. How you gonna play with it? It's up to you. If you like it, guys, you're welcome. But my personal opinion, I don't like this stuff. So now let's talk about potions. And if you didn't know, the developers made finally 8.3, 8.2 poisons, 6.1, 6.2, 6.3 healing potions. So it means that now you can get full enchantment of potions. Why not 6.4? I still don't understand a bit, because they made finally upgrade of the all current potions, and also they added some different potions, and let's talk about them. But first of all, I want to talk with you about current potions, healing potions, 6.3. If you remember, 6.1 healing potion recovered 20%, but 6.3, 24. What about Invis potion? You know, when I first time seen how much you're getting Invis, I was surprised, because it turns you invisible for up to 9.3 seconds. Wow. 8.3 potions, invisibility potions will be kind of OP. What about poison? 8.3 poison. Through the position of the targeted enemy, poisoning the target and dealing 475 true damage. Guys, true damage. That's huge. But current poison potion not reduce damage resistance of enemies anymore. But instead of it, wherever the poisoned enemy takes direct damage, they will be slowed by 52.8% for 0.2 seconds. Well, I think it will be playable with some different damage over time. I'm talking about Baden, I'm talking about fires, I'm talking about curses, I'm talking about some different effects which can be really useful with this potion. And when we talk about our current potions, now let's talk about new potions. Acid potion, that's what I said. If you remember poison potion in the current patch, so in the current patch, but in the okay. It decreased damage resistance, armor reduction, okay? But now, acid potion for that, made for that. Through the potion at targeted position, decreasing the damage resistance of up to 10 enemies with a 5 meter radius by 40 for 5 seconds. How it works? You're just throwing a potion in enemies, and every enemy who staying in this area, they getting the buff to damage resistance by 40. It's strong, maybe, because why? Stalker Hood, if enemy has less than 50% HP, damage resistance gonna be like more than 100. At the same time, 7.3 potion only decrease 40. So it will be playable 100% in the PvE, maybe in the PvP, but in my opinion damage resistance by 40, that's kinda not enough for 7.3 potion. Second potion, Berserk potion. Increase your damage by 24% for 5 seconds, decrease your defense by 16.6%. And also it's 8.3 potion. When it will be playable? how it will be playable, because in my opinion it's a Royal Sandals mechanic. So instead of Royal Sandals, now you can use Berserk Potion and it will be the same but just a bit stronger, because increase your damage by 24 for 5 seconds. I don't know. Let's talk about next one. Cleansing Potion. Yo, I was so surprised when I realized how Cleansing Potion works. Cleans all damage, overtime effects, crow control effects, and debuffs. Can be used while stunned or silenced. Grants immunity to all crow control effects for 4.4 seconds. It means that you cannot be anymore one-shot by someone because you have Cleansing Potion and you can use while stunned or silenced. So actually it's like you have always cleans. And wow, I love this potion. We need this potion. That's huge. I like it. Let's talk about next one. Wow! If you remember, before, become a top 1 in PvP, so now I'm top 2 PvP player, before I was top 1. Can you imagine that I was just full PvE player, gatherer, and when I realized Gathering Potion, I was really happy, because, people now can use it and increase gather and fishing speed by 40%, that's huge, and you gather and fishing yield by 10% for 1 minute. Will it be playable? Yes. But I think this potion will be kinda expensive, and you cannot use this potion just for tier 6 or tier 7 or even tier 8. It's not worth it. I think this potion made for 8.4, some 8.3, maybe some 8.2 different resources, but I really love this potion and I'm happy that it will be in the game. Let's talk about next one. Calming Potion. Well, I still don't understand how it works and what for, but I wanna predict that it's gonna made for some different static dungeon. Write in comments what do you think about this potion, because I really don't understand a bit how Calming Potion works. So please left in comments your ideas. So what it is? Turns you in and up to 10 group members within a 15-meter radius around you invisible to mobs for 4.7 seconds. Applies a shield to all affected players, absorbing 276 damage before resistance while invisible. It works like that. You're getting invis against mobs, and I don't know what for. So please help, write, explain. Thank you. So next potion, Hellfire Potion. What it is? Throw the potion at the targeted position, creating a puddle of hellfire with a 4-meter radius lasting 3 seconds. Deals 61 true damage versus players and 121 true damage versus mobs every 0.5 seconds. Throwing the potion will be dissolve all daily parties in an 8-meter radius around you. To be honest, I don't understand. I don't understand of that potion. Because we have Berserk Potion, we have Healing Potion, we have Poison, we have Resist Potion, but Hellfire Potion. It's not for PvE, because we have Acid Potion. It's not for PvP, because we have Poison Potion or Acid Potion, or Resist Potion. What for? How it looks like? Look at that. That's it. I don't understand, so let's talk about final potion. Tornado in a bottle. Throw the potion at the targeted position, realizing the tornado with a 3-meter radius lasting 6.1 seconds. We're talking about 8.3 potion. Knocks back all enemies touching it by 8.7 meters. Ignores crow control resistance. Wow. It works like the old mechanic with the force field, if you remember it, when it ignores crow control resistance. How it looks like? You're throwing a tornado, and it's a force field. It's a force field, just on the ground. What for this potion? What for potion Hellfire? I still don't understand a bit. So maybe people gonna use tornado in a bottle to knock back some enemies, maybe into the mobs. Like, I don't know. I really don't understand what for. Hellfire Potion, I don't understand what for. Tornado in a bottle, and yeah, so what for? If you know, if you have some ideas, maybe maybe you are really know so what for. Write in the comments. I will be appreciated for that. Thank you. So guys, that's everything about incoming patch. You can say, no, it's not only, yeah, of course. Awakening weapons. I'm gonna talk in the next video, and I will explain every single moment. I will give you my personal opinion as a pro player. Also, we will count how much time we should farm to get awakening weapon and worth it or no. So it will be on the next video. Guys, I hope you like my explanation. I hope you really like the new meta. I would say new meta, you know. You like new patch, the same like me. I hope you good luck, and thank you that you watched my, you know, live stream, live YouTube video about explanation of the incoming patch. I was really excited about this patch, and I like it. I like some really new stuffs. As I said, Bloodmoon Staff, you know, Imp Staff. What about potions? I still don't understand what for some different potion made for, but I hope you will explain me, and we're gonna know more. So, thank you that you watched my video. See you with you in the next video, where we're gonna talk about awakening weapons. Thanks everyone for watching. There will be more videos on my channel soon, so don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Спасибо всем за просмотр, скоро будет больше видео на моем канале, поэтому не забывайте поставить лайк и подписаться на канал. Goodbye!